So, here I am, in my garden, needing a haircut, which will happen at some point, I'm sure. Just get haircut anxiety, you know. But anyway, what I want to talk about today is the results. And whilst, for me, all of the getting results, getting accepted into uni happened, it's in the past. I'm not at that stage in my life today. However, a lot of people that I know are. And seeing the disaster that was the estimated grade system and the moderation process unfold has quite angered me and inspired me to vent my feelings about it in a video. So essentially, obviously, exams have been cancelled this year, and because of the pandemic, and so instead schools were asked to come up with a grade that they think the students would have got had they sat the examination. Most of them did that, then they realised that these grades were significantly higher than the A-level results that were received by students last year. Then they decided from that to appoint a moderation process, which I believe has been based on the historical performance of students in different areas. Now, what does that mean? It means it's been unfair and classist. From what it seems to me, this has just been sort of a bit of a random process. So people will put however much effort they put in. Their teachers will have predicted them A's and A stars. They will have gotten A's in their mocks, but then because of where they live and because of historical results of where they live, they have just been sort of randomly downgraded. And in many cases, it has not reflected the amount of work they've put in any way at all, which is ridiculously unfair and also quite classist, because obviously there have been several problems with the education system in this country where people in disadvantaged areas and disadvantaged schools don't get to realise their potential as a student and end up getting some not very good results. And this system, brought in by the government has been directly in control of this system. All this has done is reinforced it. And it's basically an admission by the government and the education system to say, we don't care where you come, we don't care how talented you are. We expect you to get poor results because of where you come from, because of what class you are. So we are going to assign you poor results because that's where you come from. That's what they're saying. The people that have done these moderations don't know these students. They don't know them. They don't know their past. They don't know their history. They don't know what they've had to go through. They don't know the amount of work they've been putting in. They don't know what they wrote about in their essays. They don't know how they perform in their maths classes. They don't know what type of students they are. They don't know whether they're quiet, disruptive, keen. They don't know. All they know is, right, let's bump these down because they come from Thornton Heath, and people from Thornton Heath don't get very good exam results historically. Just as a side note, I don't know. I was just using that as a potential example. It just really feels like, again, this hasn't affected me directly, but it just kind of feels like a big slap in the face to a lot of people that I know and care about, and a lot of people that a lot of people know and care about. It's just totally unfair, almost random. And the response from the government at the moment has been, oh, sorry about that. Oh well, let's move on. They don't care that they've actually fucked people over. I mean, obviously, you don't need A-level results to achieve a good place in life, but you do need them to get into a university that you've been aspiring to get to for 2 years. You do need them to start a degree that you've been hyping yourself up for 2 years. You do need them to get out of your family home, which you may have been dying to do for so long. And they've basically just gone, right, you're not getting that, you're not getting that, you're not getting that, you will, but you won't, randomly. Without even knowing what these people are like as a student, and without having any real evidence to back it up, apart from what the teachers say, which they've then ignored. Also, side note here, just to butt in to past me, I heard somewhere that not a single Eton grade is reduced, so it just goes to prove how ridiculous and incestuous the upper class are. They only care about themselves, they protect their own arses, but leave everyone else's out to dry. So private schools were fine, mostly. Certain grammar schools, for those of you who know me, you know which one I'm referring to, are probably a lot better off than other people. Then again, I do know a lot of people in grammar schools who have also been fucked over, and that's probably because they live in a poorer area. So yeah, it's all a big shit show, isn't it? This also is an important point because it leads to one extraordinary implication. We all know that teachers think they have been treated unfairly. They have been overworked because there's a very short supply of them. They have had their pensions messed around with. They've been underpaid. And all this has said is to all those teachers whose lives we've been messing up, who we've been underpaying, who have been subject to extraordinary levels of work. What we say to you is this: we don't trust you. We don't trust your judgment. We have employed you, and we don't trust you. We don't trust you to decide these students that you know and have taught for many years sometimes. We think we can do it better than you because we're in a position of power over you. And I think that says a lot about the attitude of the government. It's also interesting to note that, as has been pointed out to me, on the, I'm not sure whether it's the UCAS website or a different website, the grades that you were given by your teachers, the centre assessed grades, can't be appealed. So for example, if your teachers gave you ABB, you can't appeal that. And they say you can't appeal it because nobody knows you better than your teachers. Your teachers are the most qualified people to take this decision. But clearly they don't think that. They're lying to us because they don't think that. Because they've overruled these decisions. They don't think the teachers are qualified to make those decisions, and they don't believe the decisions that the teachers have made. They don't believe them, they don't trust them. Not only that, but immediately after saying that the teachers are the most qualified people to make those decisions, they've then said you can't appeal the grades that you've been given by the government based on the grades that your teachers got, only your mock grades. Also worth mentioning that the centre assessed grades, they have said, are not just based on mock results, but based on the performance of your whole school career, or your whole sixth form A-level career. And then they've gone, but you can only appeal based on your mock grades, not based on everything else, which is another double standard. They've mentioned in several articles that some centres have given implausibly high A-level results. And this raises 2 points. First of all, they mention that some schools have been inflating grades, which I think perhaps any reasonable person could agree. Perhaps there's been one or two that cheat the system, because that's how humans work. There's always one or two humans that cheat the system, and perhaps that's the same. Perhaps that's the same for schools. It was described in an article as a rare few centres that have been inflating grades, a rare few. Why is it then that 40% of results have been downgraded, at least? Why is it then that everywhere has been moderated down based on where you live? Not just the rare few. The rare few have been breaking the rules, but the punishment's for everyone. And it's not even a punishment for the centres, it's a punishment for the pupils who've had what they've been gearing up to for 2 years shattered and thrown into doubt. The second point is, let's assume that all of those grades were accurate. They've still mentioned that it's a lot higher, the overall grades that all the teachers and centres have been given are a lot higher than what would normally be given as a result of A-level exams. And if you look at the statistics, that is true, yes. If we had just listened to the centre assessed grades, then it would be so much higher than the results before. And that points out another flaw. Because I'm sure the government would not want to say outright, we don't trust the teachers. So let's assume that they do. Let's assume that the teachers did all get it right. And I'm sure that most of them made those decisions in good faith. I believe that. What they're saying is, the grades people deserve to get are often a lot higher, as has been proven this year. The grades that teachers think people deserve to get are a lot higher than the grades they actually get in exams. Which basically goes to show that the whole balance of A-level results and the whole balance of university places and the university admission system is based on talented people with a lot of potential screwing it up on the day and missing out. That's what it is. The whole system hangs in the balance based on whether those clever people mess up on the day. That's what powers the system, and that's what makes it work, that's what makes it efficient. Is people who have potential screwing up based on one exam and not being allowed to progress based on that. Not being allowed to progress in the way that they want to. So I think we can assume that not only has this whole ordeal been very deeply flawed, but the A-level system in general is very deeply flawed. And the whole university admission system is very deeply flawed. Because we know now that the vast majority of students in the country, or a lot more students than we previously thought, are capable of performing very well. But it is reliant for the system to work that they screw up on the day. Hope that makes sense. So the whole system needs an overhaul, and some people thought that this would be the answer, but the government and their incompetence, classism, has shown otherwise. So what can we do about it? Well, Scotland kicked up a fuss, and the Scottish Government have now said that they will accept the teacher results instead of the government's moderation. So we need to keep the pressure on. We need to kick up a massive fuss about this because it's not fair, and it's blatantly not fair, and nobody will stand for it. So we are going to kick up a fuss about this, and we're not going to shut up. There is a protest happening tomorrow in London, I believe, which, you know, I would encourage people perhaps to go to. But even after that, we can't shut up until we get justice. That is the way to achieve things. Kick up a big fuss about this. Keep the pressure on. And secondly, personal advice in terms of for the individual is, if you're applying to clearing and stuff, this is kind of A-level specific advice. It helps, as some of my friends have found, don't stop pestering unis. Keep on the pressure. Keep saying to them, I've got this, I've got this. Keep applying to clearing. Don't give up on following your dream now. If you don't like your insurance or don't like the deal that you've been given, you keep making more deals. I know some people that have called up their preferred uni for clearing and they've rejected them, called them up again, called them up again, called them up again, then emailed them, and then they got their place. So keep on the pressure, keep trying for your goal. And obviously, at the end of the day, if all else fails, you know in your heart that A-levels, and particularly these ones given by this heartless government, do not reflect your intelligence as a person. They don't. Congratulations to all of those who did well, but if you did well, you don't need those letters on a sheet of paper to tell you that you're intelligent. And for those of you who didn't, especially them, you don't need those letters to dictate how clever you are. Because a lot of people have got potential. And no amount of a classist, incompetent government trying to take that potential away will truly remove it. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for watching.